Hello dear students. Today we are going to learn a new law, okay? Law of constant composition, or it is also called law of definite proportion. So it is these two laws are the same, okay? So law of constant composition. What do you understand by this term law of constant composition? You can understand that the composition is same, okay? Like in water you have H2O, that is two atoms of hydrogen and one atom of oxygen. So we have to consider the mass of these two elements, and then they have the composition is constant. So I'll explain to you more as we come to the law. The law of constant composition discovered by Joseph Proust. So remember this name. Sometimes it is asked also the name of the discoverer of this law. Okay. So it is discovered by Joseph Proust, and it's also known as the law of definite proportion. According to the law of constant composition, a chemical compound is always found to be made up of the same elements combined together in the same proportions by weight. Okay, so you understand that whenever we think about a chemical compound like carbon dioxide or H2O, any chemical compound, it will be composed of the same elements and they will be combined in the same proportion by weight. You have to consider the weight, okay, like CO2. So in CO2 you think about carbon. What is the weight? If you are taking 1 mole of carbon dioxide, the weight of carbon will be 12 and oxygen will be 32. So they will be combined in the same proportions, even though the water that you are taking or the carbon dioxide that you are taking is obtained from different sources. Okay, it does not matter from which source you are taking it, but the composition will always be the same. This is the meaning of this law. Okay, so we will understand it more when we take an example. So let us take this example. The first sample was 1.375 gram of cupric oxide. So there are two samples here. They are talking about two samples. Okay. So you had how much cupric oxide? 1.375 grams of cupric oxide, which was heated with hydrogen to yield 1.098 gram of copper. So you are reducing copper oxide. Okay. So CuO plus H2 gives Cu plus H2O. So here we are obtaining copper from cupric oxide. Okay. And in the next case, for the second sample, 1.17 gram of copper was dissolved in nitric acid to produce copper nitrate. So you are taking 1.179 gram copper, you are converting it into copper nitrate, and then you are burning to produce cupric oxide. So you get 1.476 gram of cupric oxide. Okay. So we know that in cupric oxide there is copper in both cases. Okay. So we will find out how much copper and how much oxide is combining together in both these cupric oxide samples. So we have obtained one sample by we have obtained one sample of cupric oxide which had 1.37 gram cupric oxide and 1.098 gram of copper. That was the ratio of the weight of copper, and you can find out hydrogen by subtracting it from copper oxide. So in the first sample, copper oxide is 1.375 gram and oxygen was how much? So 1.375 gram of copper. So you will find out oxygen how much you have to subtract from copper. So 1.375 minus 1.078 will give you 0.277 gram of oxygen. If you want to find the percentage of oxygen here, you can find out 0.0277 by total copper oxide was 1.375 into 100. Okay. So that is mass of, you are taking mass of oxygen by mass of copper oxide into 100. So you will get the percentage of oxygen. So how much percentage is in copper oxide? 20.15. Okay. And in the sample 2, for the second sample, you have 1.17 gram copper oxide and 1.476 was copper. Okay, so you have to find oxygen how much? 1.476 minus 1.179, that is 0.297 gram. If you want to find the percentage, 0.297 gram by 1.476 into 100. So you will get 20.12. So you see here, one is 20.15 and another is 20.12. Percentage of oxygen means out of 100, 20.15 is the mass of oxygen and the remaining will be copper. So you see that in both cases the percentage of oxygen is almost the same. So what is the error that is coming? This is 20.15, the other one is 20.12. So how much is the error? It is 0.03. So which is a permissible error, because in experiment when you do, there are some experimental errors, okay, which are allowed. Not much error is allowed, but plus minus 0.03, that is allowed here. Okay, so we understand that the law of constant composition holds good in this case, because in both cases the percentage of copper and oxygen is almost the same in both the samples. Okay, now we come to another question. In an experiment, 0.2430 gram of magnesium on burning with oxygen yielded magnesium oxide. So here they are talking about magnesium and magnesium oxide. So we can find out the percentage in the same way that we did. Okay, so either you can find the percentage of magnesium in both samples, or you can find the percentage of oxygen in both the samples. It is the same thing. Okay, so you can take the percentage of magnesium, that is 0.2430 by 0.4030 into 100. So like that you can find the percentage of magnesium here. In another experiment, 0.1820 gram of magnesium on burning with oxygen yielded 0.3020 gram of magnesium oxide. Okay, so here also you can find the percentage, 0.1820 divided by 0.3020 into 100. So you can find the percentage. Okay, or you can do in this method also. Weight of magnesium oxide 0.4030. So weight of magnesium is 0.2430. So what is the weight of oxygen? You minus it. Okay, so you get 0.16 gram. Either find the percentage, or you can write the ratio of magnesium and oxygen also you can find. So this is another method where you find the ratio of magnesium and oxygen. So you get 1.5221 as the ratio. So you will write the ratio of magnesium and oxygen is 1.552:1. Then in experiment 2, weight of magnesium oxide is given. In the same way you will find the ratio. Again you are getting 1.552:1. So that means the ratio remains constant. So this law holds good.